Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question, namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep, in a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. A missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes. Don't look at me. If you want the newspaper, you'll have to get your hands dirty. If you come across one of my drafts, please leave it in the bin. If I am honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat. If I am honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
If I am honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat. If I am honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
What a grim view.
If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat. If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
Impressive stature, strong gaze. I think this man deserves a knighthood.
Really, Holmes? How can you be so sure?
On rare occasions, Watson, it can suffice to trust one's gut. Is this familiar to you?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Could you help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Excuse me, just one question.
I wish I could help, but I know nothing.
Do you know anything about this?
It's a shame, but I can't help you.
If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
Are you able to help me?
I'm really sorry, but I can't help you. Try asking someone else.
May I ask for your assistance?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Excuse me, just one question.
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Is this familiar to you?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
Is this familiar to you?
It's a shame I can't answer your question.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Help me, please.
No, I don't know anything about that.
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness. Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you?
Get the Strand.
Okay, perhaps.
Get your copy of the
from
Strand
Cordon.
here. Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson,
Cool, now I can take the day off.
can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive, hence the appeal of disguises. Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings. Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here! stand.
From that
Just
Mr.
in
Holmes'
case the
murder?
strange man-
Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with you. Would he do something like this?
Mr. Barnes, a word. Ah, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
No, really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way. The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood. So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. The finest view London has to offer. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
May I ask you something?
It's a shame, but I can't help you.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
I should have worn something warmer. People don't tend to come out for flowers when it rains. Perhaps I should try selling door to door. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite unless you touch their thorns.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily. I know, not very original. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite unless you touch their thorns. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite unless you touch their thorns. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite unless you touch their thorns.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
Familiar spine? This is what I found in my dustbin. The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something. It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them. Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh, no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another. One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite, unless you touch them.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We best be off.
Okay, not just tomorrow. A whole week's worth. How does that sound? You're right, I could do more. Next time you move house, I'll be there to help. I'm great with boxes. And feel free to consult my books whenever you like. I could be an asset in one of your investigations. And feel free to consult my books whenever you like. I could be an asset in one of your investigations.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We best be off.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come. Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite, unless you touch their thorns.
Not much further now.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the Inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony. Then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English, never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimahir may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahir make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person?
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint. Why are you still here?
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone. Do you think Kimahir had an accomplice in his escape?
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Chewing tobacco. Chewing tobacco. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots.
Yes, Stenwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
Looks like a knee print. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. A small navy spyglass. The ashes are long since cold. Button chops, the remains of a meal. A heavy chemical odour. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, and
no air coming through it. Is this a Tanifar, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh. The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Are you joking? Why would I know this? Where on earth are you going with this? Where on earth are you going with this? Are you joking? Why would I know this?
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Has Kimahir ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes. If you find my man, I have a marvelous whiskey with your name on it.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
This disappearance is intriguing, though. I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden. Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense. Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. Someone.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Truly, there is no better evidence of a man's nature than the way he treats those who help him. And you, sir, are a brute. The cruelty of your ignorance about the Maori people, your selfish attitude to a man's kidnapping.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity. This dreary rain is making a miserable day even worse.
Yes, Denwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahia's cart, I gather. Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man? A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the colour and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done. Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Let's just go. Stenwick wanted results, not pleasantries.
Where to, Gav? The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise of my next novel.
One kidnapping does not a story make.
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
I do not take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps. Before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor. After that...
Dr. Watson?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer and placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued?
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. Without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, do it. We must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimahir?
It appears that the saltpeter explosion rattled the locals. Can't blame them for staying at home.
Help me, please.
Oh, you're fortunate. I will help you.
Could you help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Oh, hardly a reputable establishment.
I've seen worse. Greetings, miss. I'm hoping you can help us.
We shall soon see.
Miss, what if I told you that you are in the family way?
No, really? Oh, thank you, sir. How would I, a simple woman, have ever known without your help? You must be a doctor.
In a manner of speaking.
He's not. He merely has the ego of one. I apologize, miss. Mr. Holmes is fond of his observations, but I am the doctor here, not him. Do you need any help?
I'm fine, thank you. I would rather not discuss my condition, nor let word of it spread.
I heard tell of a recent explosion in the port. What do you know of it?
Ah, yes. Something exploded in a ship's cargo hold. Caused a terrible blaze. The sky was red with smoke till morning.
Where precisely did it occur?
The ship sank near the third pier, next to the dockyard.
My colleague and I are seeking a burly man, above average height, with workman's boots.
Half my customers, then. Your description hardly narrows things down.
Are you familiar with a Roy Soulsby?
Roy Soulsby? I know the name, but he's not one of my regulars. My guess is that he works somewhere around here. Have you been drinking?
What do you know about this poster?
A foreign woman asked to put it up. She's plastered them all over the port.
Any clues as to her whereabouts?
None. It was hard to understand what she was saying. What can I get you?
It's a large harbour. If our kidnapper is hiding here, finding him won't be easy. How can I help? I could try and flag someone down.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Are you able to help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Are you able to help me?
No, sorry. I know nothing.
Are you able to help me?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Hello, lad. Is this where I may find Dea?
You read the poster? Yes? You know where my brother Girves is?
Sadly, no. Well, not yet. I want to speak to Dea. Is she around?
Amma, my mother. She got sick after the fire. Big red smoke. She couldn't breathe, so I took her to the doctor. Now I am in charge.
Where did you last see Girves?
He worked at a, warehouse. This man, Roy Soulsby, gave him the job. He paid him a necklace.
Do you still have the necklace that Soulsby gave to Girves?
Girves left it near the, shrine. I tried to sell it to buy Amma medicine, but no one wanted to buy.
How would you describe this Soulsby?
He was big and strong. He had a big scary eye.
Scary, you say?
Yes, like it was made of metal.
Don't go anywhere.
I should have helped Amma put out the posters. If she hadn't been in the smoke so long, maybe she wouldn't be sick.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie? If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Are you able to help me?
No, sorry. I know nothing.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Do you know anything about this?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
May I ask for your assistance?
It's a shame I can't answer your question.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Do you know anything about this?
You are lucky to find me. Ow.
Are you able to help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, sir. I can't help you.
May I ask for your assistance?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Is this familiar to you?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Do you know anything about this?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Is this familiar to you?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Is this familiar to you?
Sorry, sir. I can't help you.
Could you help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Do you know anything about this?
Nope. Sorry, I know nothing.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
No, sir. I never heard of it.
Excuse me, just one question.
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Do you know anything about this?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
May I ask you something?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Could you help me?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Not in the mood, mate. Shoo!
Pardon me, sir. I am looking for Roy...
Oh, not again. Yes, I'm Roy. But I can't help you find your uncle or whoever you've lost.
Now, what makes you think I would inquire about missing people?
You are the fourth person to ask this week. Just because I work at the port doesn't mean I keep track of everyone who comes here.
You say we are not the first to ask you about a disappearance. Do you recall anything about those who came inquiring?
I only remember the foreign woman. I didn't catch her name, but those are her posters hanging up everywhere. She has badgered me twice now, and I still don't know nothing.
And this woman can be found?
No clue. She was talking gibberish.
Now, where was I?
What are you on about? What are you on about? Can't help you there, mate. Sorry, doesn't ring a bell.
I have been told that you hired Dea's son, Girves, right before he vanished. His brother also said you had a metal eye. What do you make of this?
Tell that him to stop making things up.
Have you seen this before?
My card? Where did you dig that up?
At a crime scene near Baker Street involving a young servant's kidnapping, I might add.
No. Someone used it without my consent. How else would it end up there? That boat explosion stopped most traffic coming into the port. Guess I'll be without work for a while.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
May I ask for your assistance?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Wonder why people are going missing. Puts a man on edge, you know.
Help me, please.
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Help me, please.
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Excuse me, just one question.
No, sir. I never heard of it.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Are you able to help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Are you able to help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry, sir. I can't help you.
Have you ever heard of a man with a metallic eye?
I've seen him even. Dirty Summers is the name. A nasty lout, with a silver ball in place of a missing eye.
I shudder to ask, but where does one find a Dirty Summers?
He likely signed on with a ship. I am not one to spy on others, let alone him.
I see.
My advice, keep away from him. After the incident the other day, it seems staying at home.
May I ask for your assistance?
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
What are you gawping at?
Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting...
What makes you say that?
A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some recent kidnappings across London. He used your name as a cover for his deeds.
What? Really? That doesn't mean I'm involved, though. Boulder Dash. Sorry, you lost me there.
Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting on.
What makes you say that?
A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some recent kidnappings across... Your calling card was found at the crime scene. That's enough to make you a suspect.
You cannot be serious.
Give me one moment. Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting...
What makes you say that?
A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some... Your calling card was found at the crime scene. That's enough.
This proves nothing. Sorry, you lost me there.
Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting on. A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some recent kidnappings. Your calling card was found at the crime scene. That's enough to... It's true. And that's before mentioning your gold watch. It's brand new and awfully expensive for a customs officer. Clearly you have found yourself another source of income. I'm sure Scotland Yard will be delighted to investigate further.
All right, stop. Look, it's not as it seems. I did not partake in the kidnappings.
I'm all ears, Mr. Soulsby.
Yes, I know Summers. He paid me to turn a blind eye to his business in the warehouse area. Just that, on my word.
You did not tell me which warehouse he used?
I do not recall. But I use red paint to mark unsupervised warehouses. Ought to be one of them.
What else can you say of Summers?
He's a regular at the Cursed Mermaid. Goes there with his crew almost every evening.
What for?
I don't know. I assumed just for a drink. I could do with a pint at the Cursed... Mermaid. With the thought of walking in this fog.
Why do I have the feeling that you know more about Dirty Summers than you're letting on?
I have nothing more to add, sir.
Enough. I have hard evidence that Summers was involved in recent kidnappings across London.
I'm not surprised. So what?
A customs officer, Roy Soulsby, testified that Summers was a regular here. You must know something about his business.
All I know is his drinks order.
If the lives of the missing do not concern you, then I would urge you to think about your unborn child.
Are you threatening me?
Many people are missing, and the main suspect based himself in your establishment. One word to Scotland Yard and your life takes a turn for the worse. Now, spare yourself the trouble and tell me all you know.
Okay. Summers hired my private room. I think he used it to recruit people, but I haven't seen him in a few days. He paid me cash, so I paid him no attention. Nor did I touch anything inside. Here's the key, go and do what you will. Just leave me out of it. The people here are resilient. Tomorrow it'll all be forgotten.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Be careful on the port, gentlemen. The fog is particularly thick tonight.
Help me, please.
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything.
May I ask for your assistance?
It is a shame I can't answer your question.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Be careful on the port, gentlemen. The fog is particularly thick tonight.
Do you know anything about this?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Be careful on the port, gentlemen. The fog is particularly thick tonight.
you know anything about this?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Are you able to help me?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
£5. That won't go far. Strange symbols. I don't recognize them.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
What did you see of Summer's work here? He was recruiting people?
It was like the whole world came through my door. People of all creeds and colours, but always strong, always tall. They seemed like workers or journeymen. Beyond that, there's not much more to tell. I took his money and let him be.
And this lasted how long?
Several weeks, I wager. Be careful on the port, gentlemen. The fog is particularly thick tonight. Be careful on the port, gentlemen. The fog is particularly thick tonight.
you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Is this familiar to you?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Really, Holmes, this ought to be beneath you.
As my brother would say, it is for the greater good. Mold. That's why you don't leave sailcloth lying out. Good quality, but torn in many spots. There are a couple of marks on this end. The scratches are fresh, left by something metallic. This crank saw some use. Layers of rust will prevent any movement.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
It's stuck. No one's used it in a very long time. Well oiled and well maintained. Fit for a crank. I can't do it with my bare hands.
If we stay out much longer,
just
I'm going
as
to
I
need some
expected.
supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Wait here, Watson, and keep an eye on the doors. I'll scout the premises.
Will do. Be careful down there.
Wait. What's happening? What is this place? Where am I? Strangely cold. Something is missing. Strangely cold. Something is missing. This cannot have been under the port of London all along. Is it? The only way forward is the abyss. Strangely cold. Something is missing. Phew, I didn't die. It is icy cold and pulsating. My heart, be calm. I am somewhere else. How? It's harder to breathe here. What is that? Stares right through me. It's like it stares right through me.
like it stares right through me. It's like it stares right through me. head is already spinning. When will this end? There are 2 recesses. My head. What just happened? Stench. A strange stone. It almost feels alive. One down, 1 to go. Oh, that is truly revolting. Frozen and pulsing, almost like it has a heart. Did I get out?
John?
What is it, Holmes?